Welcome back to the final build segment of the RC-3 Seebee. There's a little bit more to do, but as you can see, all of the major components are there. We've got the wings, we've got the fuselage, we've got the tail with the empennage, we've got landing gear and lack thereof. We've got tip floats, we've got a cowl over the engine compartment, and we've got the hatch with our canopy. Now, I will say that we are in a very good spot because this airplane is flown. But before we get there, before I show you that, I want to go over what I've done. So the floats that go on the tip, as you saw in the last video, these were being spackled and then glassed. That was the next plan. Okay, so I did glass these. Turned out pretty well. I will say that I tried another method that they had shown it to work really, really well for them. I tried it and I didn't have as good results. I'll show you what I mean. So here you can see this rough texture. Now, even though this was sealed very well with sanding sealer as well as the glass and sanding sealer, and then I did fill the weave with the sanding sealer and micro balloons, and all of that was sealed and dry. After that, I applied a light coat of just base primer, and that was fine. But then when I applied enamel paint, something about the enamel paint just off-gassed and started melting the foam underneath. You could tell because it was very soft. It has now hardened. So did not work for me. That process did not work for me. Normally, I do not apply any of the spackling underneath of the glass. And I think that there's some sort of chemical reaction to that, at least within close proximity, that was off-gassing beneath the glass and could not escape at least at the rate that it was off-gassing. So lesson to me, that technique doesn't work for me. But I'm okay with the finish as is. I never meant this model to be a show model. I'm happy enough with it moving forward. So good thing to know moving forward. And that is when I get to the engine cover. The engine cover was more or less built per the plans. I did use foam in the construction. I drilled out some holes in advance, and I have some aluminum wire for this piece here in the front. Just bent it to shape around this shape that was on the plans, just to help guard from major chunks of stuff getting in here. Not that it would cause a problem with any of the electronics, but you know, if it were to get in and then go through the propeller as it comes out the back, that would potentially be a problem. So the only thing that I'm not crazy about is that this was built per the plans, and the engine is a little bit off center of this hole. It does look a little bit wonky, but it is built per the plans. So I really can't argue. It's just the way that it is. Now, I will say that it follows the lines pretty well. It's not entirely to scale. The scale one was a little bit more set back into the wing. That's okay. Again, not building this for a scale competition. This is a fun build, just for fun. And you know, that's really all the building that has been done on this that was left. Very minor stuff, a lot of glue, a lot of paint, foam, etc. Cosmetic stuff. So then I was able to take it to a local event at my full-scale airport, and a lot of people really loved it there. But then I took it to a recent Warbirds and Classics event in Virginia and tried to take off. Now, at first I tried using a 5000 4-cell, and this is where things get a little funny. The 5000 4-cell balances it perfectly right on the recommended location. And take a look at what happened. obviously you can tell things were a bit comical. We were having a lot of fun at the field. That's the way things go. But given that, what I had learned was obviously we're too nose heavy for me to take off. Smaller tires means rotating faster, right? So that increases rotating friction. So you're trying to overcome more rotational friction from the tires to take off. And then in addition to that rotating friction, we're on grass, but that's theoretically supposed to be better than water. But with that additional nose weight and the rotational friction, kept wanting to nose in. So that means two things for me. Definitely nose heavy, so I need to remove nose weight. So I went down to a 4000 4-cell that I had, which I knew was lighter. Moved the CG back, but well, just take a look at what happens.
Let's go.
Close.
Right. So I'll put the flaps up.
Try it. Hey!
And that's where it should stay.
There's the old saying that things are conservative sometimes. And this is a set of plans that is definitely that way. The center of gravity, as marked, is here underneath the wing, right behind the main spar. Center of gravity, after I removed some of the weight, moved it back about a half a centimeter. Okay, which is actually closer to about 1/3 of the wing chord, which is fine. So that's where it flew, and it was still a little bit nose heavy. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with nose heavy. Apparently I was just too nose heavy. So I think maybe a 33 or 3400 4-cell would be okay. I'll have to take a look at where the center of gravity is on the 2200 that I have, but I may end up having to buy a specific battery for this model. Not a huge deal, rather not, but at least I know it flies on the 4-cell. Now, short flight. Why the short flight? Number one, it just felt like it didn't have enough power, and that may have also been nerves. So flying in an unfamiliar location has that kind of effect sometimes. And so I want to take it home, and I want to take it to my own home flying field and see how it does there. Moving from there, I know it has enough power to fly, but obviously, getting it in the air was a little bit of a struggle. I had to remove the flaps, the first to take off going from right to left. That was with flaps, and so I decided to turn around, take the flaps off, clean up the airframe a little bit, and try to take off a little smoother from there. I do think if I had a little more oomph behind it, it would take off a little bit better. The problem is I can't make the prop any bigger. If I do anything different, it would have to be like if I took a 9.9 prop and cut it down to an 8.9, but then you're risking stalling the prop and it'd be noisier. I'm tempted to go with a different motor. Not my ideal solution, but it is a solution. Still working on that one, but I want to fly it first. I want to get to know the airplane before I really know what it needs, because some of it might be just my jitters. One last quick tip I will give you guys before I send you off. These wheels, these Dubro wheels, they took a beating, just an absolute beating, but they also took paint. Some of the overspray of the paint from painting various things got onto these tires, and let me tell you, getting them cleaned up was super easy. Isopropyl alcohol. Seriously, just put some on a paper towel and wipe it on there and it came right off, cleaned it right up. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. The Seebee will be ongoing. I had a great visit with my mother-in-law actually just yesterday about the project, and she loves it. She was super excited to see it, but we still can't find the picture. And even then, she seems to think that what picture they have, they know it's black and white, so I'm not going to be able to tell colors. And she thinks that it's too close, that there isn't going to be a... She doesn't remember there being a picture of the tail. So N number is probably not going to be likely. So I may end up just painting this something that works for me, and we'll move on from there. It's not fully scale anyway, so I'm not hurt about it. And she's okay with it too. She just thinks it's fun because it's a weird little plane. So cool. And then, you know, we have to try to take it to the drink and do some water testing. Plans. See if we can get this thing to fly off of water, or at least float off of water. Again, you know, we're taking some weight out of it, but she is a little bit heavy. Yeah, had to add 3 ounces to the nose with that 5,000 pack. So that might be an option too. Put the 4 cell in again and take some of that nose weight out. Just remembered that. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys. Next video is going to be all about the new builds coming up. And I say builds because if you haven't been tuning into social media, this is going to be a fun one. Anyway, thanks for stopping by again. Check out dubro.com for all of your hardware. Use code Josh10 and get your build on this flying season and keep building your flying works of art.